If you would like to make your consulting practice a little bit more attractive without the need for plastic surgery, then you're going to want to listen to this episode. Welcome to Your Consulting Business Podcast. My name is Russell Pearson, and this is episode number 52. Today on the show, we have a magnificent guest. She's a friend, a colleague, and just a good all-round human. We'll get into that in just a moment. But I want to make sure that if you are a consultant, if you're a trainer, if you're a therapist, if you're a person who has deep expertise in the work that they do, and you're running your own business or intending to run your own business, then I would love you to subscribe to this show. It is all about content that's going to help you be more successful in your business of expertise. So whether you're watching it live here on the video on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button there, or if you're listening to it in your lovely listening ears on your podcast platform of choice, I would love you to click subscribe there and potentially share it with a colleague. You never know who might need a little bit of a boost, a little tip, a little tactic that's going to help them increase the opportunities for them to help other people, because that's what's cool about this business of expertise, is that it's a whole bunch of smart people looking to help other people do more things on this planet. And that's why I'm here. I'm to help you do just that. And my guest is here to do that as well. She's magnificent and someone I love speaking to. So I knew that when I got her on the show that we could just have a chat about pretty much anything. But today we talk about brand, about how to become more attractive, not only in a way that makes you look good to other people, but also makes it attractive to people that you would love working with, and in a way that it just makes it easier for you to do business. So let me please introduce our next guest. She is an award-winning business mentor and digital marketing coach. She's a down-to-earth human on a mission to demystify the realities of running a successful online business. She's an author, she runs multiple podcasts, she's a good friend, and I would love to make her absolutely welcome. Please welcome Kate Toon. Kate Toon, welcome to the show.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's fantastic to have you here. I mean, you've been on my podcast in the past, but you have never been on this podcast.
No, and you have also been in my book. So,
That's true.
We are like, media buddies. I love it.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, I've done an intro for you that talked about all the things that you're famously known for. But shorten that up for everybody who's listening, for this consulting audience. Who are you, Kate Toon?
Who am I? I would class myself as a digital educator. So I take complex digital marketing bits and bobs, and I feel like I translate them into digestible, doable, tactical tasks, making these big strategic abstract concepts actually something you can add to your to-do list and get done. I think that's me. You see, I went a bit northern there. I think the northerner in me, north of England, is like, yada, yada. What can I actually do today that's going to make a difference to my brand and to my business and make me some bloomin' money? So I think that's what I do.
It's cool too, because on one hand, people will know you as being fun and quirky and amazing and remarkable. But on the other side, the reality is that you are very clear about getting people results, and that's what I love about the stuff that you do. It is distilling it down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't take myself too seriously, but I take business very seriously. I'm really driven by profitability and, being lean and productive. And so anything that helps me do that is a win.
Awesome. Now, you have a bunch of different programs that you run. Name the top ones for this audience.
So, yeah, it's actually funny. I've just actually shut one down. So that's an interesting pivot for me at the moment. I use the word pivot and we're only about 5 minutes in. I do apologize. So right now I am focusing in on the Digital Marketing Collective, which is my membership for helping businesses get better at digital marketing, unsurprisingly, and the Recipe for SEO Success, where I teach people how to get found on the interwebs via the Google Beast.
Yeah, 100%. And you've been fabulously good at doing that. The other thing you've been great at doing is actually building not only your own brand, but helping other people build brands. I think I'd like to talk about that today, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, it's my favorite topic.
Excellent. Well, it is often my favorite topic too. I love the concept of building brands and what that can mean for people, what it can do for people. What can a brand do for someone in a consulting space?
I think these days, people want to buy from people they know and they trust, and so it's really building that trust, the know, like, and trust factor, which
Yeah.
is wheeled out by everybody. But equally, it's part of Google's algorithm, and really Google is everything. If you're not on Google, you're not on the internet. It's very hard to be found. Even if you are being referred word of mouth, which many consultants are, you've worked with this brand, they recommend you. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to head off to the old Google, have a little bit of a stalk. And Google is great at creating an online footprint for us. Every time we are mentioned, every time we are linked to,
Yep.
Google gets an idea of who we are. It's actually part of the algorithm called EAT, expertise, experience, authority, and trust, where Google is trying to work out, is Russell Pearson who he says he is? Can he do what he does? What does he do? They think of you as like a little entity. You are not a person,
Yeah.
you're an entity. And all these other entities are connected to you, and you want the right entities connected to you. So that's how branding can help. And then if you're findable and likable and trustable, then I'm more likely to give you my money.
Mm. The thing about branding too is that some people go, "Oh, I'm not going to brand because I don't want to be like that, whatever like that is." But it's this concept that they think that maybe they're not being branded as is, that they don't
Yes.
already have a brand, right?
Yeah, we all have our own little brand, whether we like it or not. We are all people. And generally, even if you're running a corporation, the corporation will inherit some of your personality through osmosis, right?
Mm.
Apple, founded by Steve Jobs, for a
Yep.
long time had his principles as leading forward, his values, his personality.
Mm.
Changed a bit now. So I think as consultants, you are your brand.
Yeah.
And the great thing about embracing that is that you can be an incredibly lazy marketer. It takes away the pressure. It makes it so much less stressful if you embrace who you are,
Mm.
and market in that way. So it's actually a really good shortcut.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm often talking to consultants about is, you hear about building authority, and so they're obsessed with building authority. And I see
Mm.
whether they be consultants or trainers or speakers or therapists or whatever it is, like out there proving that they're smart. But the reality is, with most consultants who've gone started something for themselves, they already have the expertise, they have the credibility. Um, all they need to do is share who they are.
This is it. If we're lining up our CVs and measuring them against each other, you get to a point where it's all much of a muchness. We've all done
Mm.
X, we've all done Y. And that's not the point of difference. You run out of point of difference. So what becomes the point of difference is likability, which feels a bit weird because we don't want to be dancing on reels as a consultant and trying to get people to, it's not a popularity contest. But let's be honest, business is a popularity contest. I am much more likely to work with you if I like the cut of your jib, if I
Yeah.
like your sense of humor, if I like your values. I was presenting the other day and I was like, who in the room likes dogs? And then, who in the room's like cats? And then all the cat people and the dog people looked at each other. That was it. The line was drawn, you know? Would you rather work with a dog person or a cat person? Inherently, you know the answer to that. And it may seem stupid, but sometimes you get to the point when you're choosing who to work with, when everything else is an even playing field and you're looking for a little bit of point of difference. And that may be a personality trait or a
Yeah.
branding value, not another dot on your LinkedIn profile.
Are you a dog person?
I'm a dog person.
And I'm a cat person.
Oh, I'm leaving this podcast immediately. But clearly then we can never actually be friends and we can just
I've seen those memes where a cat puts its head on the shoulder of a dog and it was all lovely, but
yeah,
it can happen.
it
It
can
just doesn't happen
happen.
very
Of
often.
course it can happen. It's a silly example, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you get on the phone with someone and they're really to the point, they're really abrupt, and you kind of like it. It's like, God, this person knows what they're doing. Other people can
Exactly.
get on the phone with them and go, geez, what's their problem? Can they chill out, be a bit calmer? But the thing is, we have to be us because sooner or later, someone is going to find out who you are. And the
Mm.
quicker that is to the point of connection, the better the relationship's going to be. You don't want to pretend to be something, then someone gets in your inner circle and they go, oh my God, this person is nothing like I thought they would be. And working with them
Yeah.
is a freaking nightmare. So, show your good qualities and your bad qualities, right?
And there's some even basic stuff with that, like aesthetics. Like one of my clients years ago showed me some new photos that she had done, and she had every wrinkle photoshopped off. Like she looked
Like an egg.
nothing like she did in real life. And I said,
Yeah.
"You've just deleted your experience. Your wisdom has just been removed from the page. Do you understand what you've just done?" Did it make them change their mind? Yes, it did. But like even pretending to be something in that space, if you don't wear a three-piece suit to go and see the client, don't wear a three-piece suit on the photography.
That's exactly it. Like I make all my videos from my desk, like you do, with my messy background, looking how I look. Because once you get to work with me, you're going to see that me. You're not going to see me in like a pencil skirt with a blow dry, and Russell doesn't wear a pencil skirt either. So why
You
would
don't know what's underneath this
I
desk.
do not know. I highly suspect it is a pencil skirt. But
It could be. Could be kilt.
And if it is, some people would love that for you. So
I'm sure that they do.
It's just about embracing your you-ness, I think, which sounds very woo-woo. Being authentic.
Say that again.
Yeah, embracing your you-ness. And I think authentic has become a bit of a cliche online, and people are almost affecting authenticity, which seems really hard. But we don't need to present some curated, glossy, wrinkle-free version of ourselves.
No,
we need to show the wrinkles.
And I'm not going to sidetrack this entire conversation, but one of the more difficult things in this, number one, authenticity, but also identity, is really saying, who am I? Like understanding who you are.
It's an existential question. It is. I mean, I like to break it down into two parts, as I think you do too. So the first one is I believe in. So coming up with some values. I believe in generosity. I believe in honesty, right? So what do you stand for? And I find the easiest way to identify your I believes in is to go, well, what do I not believe in? What would I get on a soapbox and fight about? So I'm in the SEO space, and I used to hate the way everyone made it out to be like really complicated and a dark art, when really it's pretty straightforward. So I'm like a truth teller. I'm an honesty. I believe in telling the truth and not bamboozling people. And then the other side of that is, who are you? So I am. So I believe in, and I am funny. I am smart. I am whatever. I am kind. I am beautiful. Whatever you want to be, right? But there's a difference between what you believe in and who you are. And that's where I usually start, trying to just come up with 4 belief points and 4 am points. And then
yes.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much easier. Like I overcomplicate brand. I've been working in this space a long time, and I've simplified part of it down to this sort of triangle of who are you, who are they, in other words, who are your drawing engagers, and what is the role between the two of you?
Yeah,
right. And so it does simplify it down, but it doesn't tell you what to do about it, right? And so there's understanding who you are, but then there is also understanding the audience. I think it's a large part of the commercialization of brand. What are we doing brand for? It's not to become famous.
Isn't
We're
it?
here to actually, well, it could be.
I don't know. It can help. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you got to spread your doodah pretty wide to get enough people in, depending on what you're doing. That sounds terrible. You know what I mean?
It sounds very interesting.
But when I was a consultant, how many clients did I really need a month? 1 or 2. At the rates I was charging, that was as many as I could have.
Yeah.
But now I'm selling in a one-to-many model. I need hundreds of people. So again, it's not about appealing to everyone. And we were talking about this earlier. Good branding, good marketing is divisive. Some people aren't going to like you, and that's okay, because you don't need to be for everyone. You need to be for your ideal customer. And that gets harder the broader you spread your marketing, because you want to attract more and more people. But at the end of the day, you don't want to attract people who are ultimately going to dislike you. So it's challenging. Going online these days in this cancel culture, in this woke world, is frightening, and you're very fearful of trying to put your personality out there and someone going, hey, hang on, I don't like your personality. You shouldn't say that. That's not PC. You're not right. And that can be really challenging, and a reason why people hold back, I think.
I was scared of that for a long time. And I always thought of brand management as being the key of hiding my flaws and all those different things. It's going back a long time, but very much the case. And then, you have some things that happen in your life, I don't care anymore. And then you start bringing some of it into the work that you do. You start talking about things like playing computer games on the weekend or whatever it might be, and suddenly you're starting being yourself. I found that once I took the step to actually start sharing things that were real and were happening in my life without just like throwing my dirty laundry out there in public, but actually saying these are the things I believe in, this are the things I care about, and being open and honest about them, that the world opened up for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel, although I feel like we've only met once, but I feel like I know you very well because you share on, on your business profiles and on social media, a bit of your real life. So I feel much more connected to you than I should, given our amount of contact. And but that's what you want, right? That's what you want. You want to feel like you know someone. And people will come up to me at events and be like, God, I feel like I know everything about you. Like they'll come and say, how's your dog? Or what happened with that woman the other day that said that thing? And I'm like, what did I tell you that? And then I'm like, and it's, because also I've have podcasts like you, hundreds of hours of podcasts. I've written books. Some people have spent hundreds of hours with me.
Yes.
I have not spent them with them, but they have spent them with me. So they do know so much about me. And that is scary, but kind of cool.
Yeah, well, it speeds up the process too. I think getting to the point of the, why are we doing this? Well, for the consultants, maybe they only need 5 clients, maybe less at a time. They don't need to appeal to everyone, but at the end of the day, they do need to attract people who are right for them. And so what are some steps?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and people who are willing to invest a serious amount of money. It's not like you're getting someone to buy a $15 template or someone's investing their money, their trust, their brand, their business with you. Yeah. So while the quantity is lower, the quality needs to be so much higher. So yeah, that's the challenge.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in many cases per engagement. And so, I mean, trust, you said it earlier, trust becomes so key. And so the amount of time they're able to spend with you to experience you really cements that consideration stage before they're sometimes even in problem identification stage. They may have followed you on a platform, whether it be as an author or whether it's a podcaster, for a year or two before they've even seen the problem that they've got in front of them and gone, oh, now I need Kate's help.
That's it. And I think that's happened to me where someone's gone, I just liked you, so I followed you. I had no interest in SEO or no interest in digital marketing. But then when the time came, when I did need that, you were the first person I thought of. So people come with different routes. I work in the land of Google, and some people go to Google with conversion intent. They're literally saying, I want a consultant to help with project X. Some people are just going into Google typing, this is my problem, and I'm not aware that there's a solution yet. Some people are just browsing the internet looking for like pictures of cats, and you pop up, and they didn't even and they didn't even know that they needed you or wanted you, and then boom. But the power is if people who don't even need you will advocate for you to other people.
Yes.
So I don't have a cat, but if I see anything cat related, I will send it to my cat loving friends because, there you go. Right. So I'm becoming a brand advocate for these cat brands, even though I'm not their ideal avatar. So you just don't.
My partner's even worse. She'll run a big corporate engagement, and Asana and a number of other platforms have cats that pop up. And so she'll show people these ways to have cat emojis, where she'll say, you can either put your hand up when you agree with something, or thumbs up, or you can put a smiley face. But the people that I love the most in the audience will put a cat emoji. Yeah. And so she just has nothing but cat emojis coming up on every single one of her
and you become known for it. And this is
That's right.
I once mentioned that I like hedgehogs. I think I mentioned it at some point. And to this day, when I turn up at events, people hand me hedgehogs. And then I was
not real hedgehogs,
not real ones. That would be a bit weird. But then again, I was talking at an event the other day, and this sounds really weird. It was a brilliant moment, and I kept it. A lady came up to me and she said, I just looked at your stuff so much beforehand. And then I was out pegging up some washing, and I noticed that one of my pegs was teal. Teal is my brand color. And she said, so I bought it for you. And she brought it to the event. And I'm going to keep that peg forever because she saw teal and connected it to me. And that, like, a base level is like, wow, my branding's really working.
A friend of mine mentioned that they like bacon once. Yeah. And like it's become a meme for them. People send them like pounds and kilos of bacon, like just in the mail. So anyway,
this is what we want as consultants. We want bacon.
I was going to say that's a little to the left, but we are here for results. So let's what are 3 things that solo consultants can do to make their brand more effective?
And I think we were talking before about trust. So getting back to that, I think,
Good.
Obviously you can relentlessly share the fact that you have experience and qualifications, but that runs dry pretty quickly. So what you actually want to show is that your skills have resulted in results for other people. So, sharing, and not just sharing other people's case studies and testimonials, but celebrating other people's success. I love when I see people celebrating other people's success. I think, getting featured on brands and podcasts and in places where that brand already has kudos, so that rubs off on you. Oh my god, if they're featured in Sydney Morning Herald, they must be good. If they're on Russell Pearson's podcast, they must be good already, because he's good. He already has my trust. So a little bit of that trust love rubs off on me. And then I think, as I said, it doesn't seem like a thing, but sharing your real life. So it's about showing, not telling. So, we hate exposition in storytelling. We love it when you realize that this person is really fun and enjoyable, not because they're constantly saying, I'm fun and I'm enjoyable, but because you see them doing things that gives you the impression that they're fun. And that's very hard to do with straight LinkedIn posts. That might not, maybe you want to show that you have family values. So once in a while you share a picture of yourself roller skating with your kids. That kind of thing. Then you don't have to say you're a family man.
I think what's key about that is the show don't tell. I think the show don't tell is gold. And it's most people don't even think to do it for some reason. They're too much in maybe it's the platform. Like you take something like LinkedIn, you think text, and so I need to write this out.
I need to write this hero's journey of I was living in a bin and then I did this and look at me now, and it's so tedious. I think there's that, and I think show don't tell, and share some images, and then you don't also have to be constantly pumping out content. You can be a content curator, so you're sharing other people's content that shows that you know what you're talking about, and you can be a content commenter, so you can be interacting on other thought leaders and consultants' posts, offering useful advice and showing that you're part of the community. I think that can be really helpful as well. So it's not about having to sit down and write 30 genius posts every month. It's about being in the throng, being in the discussion, being in the community, and being seen.
Yeah. So let's, I'm going to ask you a slightly to the side question. Because obviously, you work in digital marketing, I work in digital marketing, but what if it was not digital marketing? What if it's not social media? Like, how can people build up that trust with their brand without using something like posts?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously in-person networking is still one of the most powerful ways to connect with people, and how you do that, and making yourself recognizable, even something as silly as like, if it is a shirt and tie event, wearing a jazzy tie so that you are memorable. Do you know what I mean? It's having an unusual business card, bringing a gift, whatever it may be, asking unusual questions, not just thrusting your business card at someone when they're trying to eat a sausage roll. So I think in-person events can really, really help. And assisting word of mouth. If you want to scoot past social altogether, making sure that you have a hub somewhere that's not LinkedIn, that is your own, that really illustrates your vibe. So if your name is dropped in a room when you're not there, as Jeff Bezos says, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, that people then can find your room, see that you know what you are, and make a connection with you. Don't make it hard to connect with people yourself as well.
Yeah, and there was even a piece there that I can actually extend on too, which is the you've seen BNI and BX and all these different places, right? So, some of them are absolutely fantastic, but the concept that most people think is I need to be introduced to one person and, we might do business together. I think the great opportunity is to introduce other people together.
Oh, I love that. I love being a people pimp. I love connecting people to people. The other great thing, which I think is a great thing for consultants, is when you finish a job, obviously you want to go through the process of getting testimonials and results and getting all of that. But the thing I like to do when I was a copywriting consultant was say to people, okay, thanks so much for working with me. Is there anybody else in your circle who you think you should introduce me to, who you think I could, because they probably know some great people, and all they're doing is gently opening the door. You have to get your foot in there and push it open. But people just don't even think to ask that question. Like you're great. You'll say things like, who else do you think would be a great guest to come on my podcast? Now, I'm not just going to give you anybody, because I don't want to let you
No.
down. So I'm going to give you some good people, and I've just saved
Yeah,
you.
there's a reputation attached.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I love that because you can. This is the thing where it comes back. The reason I wanted to go offline for a second is because the offline lessons are the ones that we should be bringing online. And
Yes.
so it's not just about posting. It's not. Often you'll look at somebody, well, maybe not us, but other people will look at somebody and say, "Look at what that person's posting. I'm going to model their posts," and they will try to copy the posts. But what they'll miss is behind the scenes there is this actual old school, traditional, but really high quality networking and engagement and invitations and all these other things happening behind the scenes.
Yeah. And I think you and I have been around long enough that we know people. That takes some time, and sometimes it can feel like a closed circuit. But one of the fastest ways that I've built connections is to, as you mentioned, connect other people with other people. Be helpful.
Yeah.
Be helpful, even if there's no benefit in it for you at all. Just, hey, I think this is Bob. I think you would like Sue. You two should chat. Okay, bye. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's all I need
And
to
what's
do.
cool is you get feedback back on the other end. So Troy and Zara Love, who I introduced
Yes.
you to, they thought you were absolutely fantastic. And
Well,
I was
we
like,
loved
I
each
knew
other.
you would love Kate.
Yeah, and we've sent each other little parcels in the post, and they're coming in my group. So you have set off a whole thing in motion. But then on the podcast, we spoke about you for about 10 minutes. So
I haven't heard it yet, so I don't even know what
I
you
know it
said.
wasn't good. It was really bad. No, I'm
Oh, I can
joking. But
imagine.
without you didn't ask for that. You didn't ask for anything. You just did a nice thing. And I'm not a particularly woo-woo or karmic person, but it's common sense. There's a spirit of reciprocity. If I do
Yes.
something good for you, it may not come back from you, but probably at some point it will. You will remember. And we don't always need to reach up to the super famous mega people. I like to help people who are either on the same level as me or who are starting out. If you help someone on their way up, they will remember that forever.
Yeah, and I am in the karma circle. I think it's great. But on the other side, the quantifiable side, you just help two people instead of one person. It just makes it makes sense by the numbers,
Yes.
people. Yeah, so absolutely, that's super cool. Where can this consulting community see more about what you've got out there, and how can they get engaged in it?
So, I mean, luckily I'm quite good at SEO. So if you pop Kate Toon into Google, you'll find all my bits and bobs. And again, that's my final tip really, is to be diverse. Some people are on Instagram, some people read books, some people listen to podcasts, some people go to in-person events. You don't need to be a genius at all of them. Just dip your toe in a few of them. Have a diverse range of connection points and be patient. It can take a while to build up this reputation and to maintain it. So yeah, luckily enough, there's a lot of different connection points for me. So once you find me, you won't be able to avoid me. That's what people say.
That's not a bad problem at all. I don't think so. Domain names, people I'll just Google you. What I love about the Googling thing,
Yeah.
Well, I love the technique in that, by the way. Just there's some great SEO there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So definitely go and Google Kate Toon, TOON, Kate KATE, and they will find everything that you've got available there.
And I will. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Amazing to speak, and hopefully we'll get a chance to speak again. Thanks so much. Wasn't that a fun episode? Like this, I always have something to talk about when I'm talking to Kate, because we've always got evolving points of view. We're always learning more, developing, and helping more people around the traps. We tend to like sort of cross over quite a bit, but we always have something to chat about. So I'm so glad I could get her on the show. And I wanted to also share that this is the new book that she's got out, so 6 Figures in School Hours. It's ideal, I think, for all sorts of business owners, not just those who are single parents, but those who have children of just about any sort. There are all sorts of tips and tricks on how to actually do it without spending too much time. I think that's one of the cool things about this book, is that it enables you to not just run a business successfully, but run a business successfully, allowing you to live your life as well. So Alfred's going to put a link, aren't you, Alfred, into the description below, where you can get a copy of that book. Now, other things that we've got going on, you may or may not be aware of the Forge Business Program. That is a business program that we run for consultants and experts, people running a business of expertise just like you, to help them grow their business. Now, what the reality is, it's just a whole bunch of super smart people who I work with to simplify and clean up their message to make it so much more effective to engage those people that they would like to support. So if you are interested in getting new clients, if you're interested in building your business, if you're even interested in taking your business from a practice, which is the solo enterprise, the profitable enterprise that runs around you, to a place where it can potentially become that profitable enterprise that runs without you. If you are interested to that, that is certainly part of the journey. If you are interested in that, that is part of the journey. Do you ever find yourself saying words and then you hear the words come out and you're like, where did that come from? That's me and grammar in general. So if you are interested in knowing what that would look like, the Forge, we don't have the opportunity out there for just anybody. It is an invitation-only access. So if you're interested to find out more, you can always raise your hand and say, Russell, tell me more about that. And we can have a chat and see if it is right for you. So make sure, if you haven't already subscribe to this episode. We've got some fantastic episodes coming up very, very shortly. Also some additional amazing guests. And we've got sort of a big guest I've been trying to get on the show for some time. I'm not going to tell you who it is because I'm going to jinx myself, but I want to cross my fingers and make sure that we can help make that happen. And but we're looking forward to you joining us again in future sessions. If you haven't already, go to russellpearsonprograms.com. We've got free resources there. See, there's the words coming out. It's one of those difficult shows. If you haven't already gone to russellpearsonprograms.com and grabbed the resource there is always new resources that we're adding to that page, which you can download absolutely free, that'll help you in your consulting or business of expertise business. Until next time, my name's Russell Pearson. Stay passionate, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.